This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Out of all 50 states, every single one, hands down, Valor and I chose California, Matt, despite we're going to pay that sunshine tax as long as we can. But it came down to Northern California or Southern California. And we are so thankful that we picked Sacramento, because what we like to describe it as, especially like the Roseville, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Rocklin areas, we like to describe it to our friends in Southern California as an affordable Newport. Like
really?
Yeah, the road, the streets are so nice, the shopping's great, the schools are fantastic. You don't have the beach, but
you don't have the beach.
Come on, that's
and
okay.
The weather is not even close. Talk about those scorching summers.
Hey, that's what
Man,
God
I just
made
think
AC.
That's a bad comparison.
Well, but it's so nice.
But I get what you're saying. As far as the living experience, as far as the shopping opportunities, the communities, the schools, stuff like that, it's somewhat similar, sure. I just think it's funny. You're comparing a beach town to a river town.
Hey, it's all good. There's water. There's water.
True.
And you have Lake Tahoe. You have Napa.
That are about an hour and a half away.
You have all these great people fly from all over the world.
I'm not digging your choice. Obviously, if you would have chose Costa Mesa or Newport, then we wouldn't be friends. But I just think it's an interesting choice. I would hands down pick Newport, but I just happen to be here in Sacramento. And Sacramento, the greater Sacramento area is great. I love it. Obviously, I would choose Northern California as a whole over Southern California.
Yep. And people talk about traffic, up here, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, did you hear about that report that came out that listed the safest places to live in all of California?
I did hear about that.
And number one is a town I've never even heard of. It's called
Rancho something or other.
Let's see, Rancho Santa Margarita. Which is interesting.
Sounds like a drink, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it's in Orange County, and I guess they're calling that the safest city to live in California. Now, in our area, Lincoln was number 7. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Lincoln is super safe.
Yeah.
Lincoln and Rocklin. I'm surprised.
Rocklin's number 9. Roseville did not make the top 10.
Come on, Roseville.
Yeah.
But Roseville at times has been ranked one of the top places in the country to live.
It's true because of all the opportunities, but with growth comes crime and traffic and all those kind of different elements. So I think Roseville has seen that with all of the growth that they've seen. Yeah. I mean, forever they've been one of the fastest growing cities in America, but with that, there's more traffic. I mean, holy cow, that 65 bottleneck.
Yeah.
It's nonstop, no matter what time of day. And then you're going to have more crime, obviously, with more shopping centers and stuff like that. So, yes, Roseville is great, but I do think that it's not always the safest.
If they were to fix one thing like that I would pick, it would be fix the 65.
Yeah.
Like, please.
Did you hear that the California Transportation Commission approved 2 toll lanes coming up? They're going to build toll lanes. Do you know what toll lanes are, right?
I do.
They have them in Southern California, the Bay Area.
I know.
And that means they're going to probably, they said, connect 80 to 50. There's going to be a toll lane during peak traffic times that will charge you about $1 a mile.
$1 a mile?
Yeah. To avoid traffic.
But it's going to be, but it is going to connect the 80 to the 50.
Yes.
That's interesting. I would pay $1 a mile to avoid freaking going down Hazel.
Every single day.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's interesting. It's just talking about the different aspects and features and benefits of living in Rocklin, Lincoln, Roseville.
It's an incredible place. It truly is. I get it if it's not for everybody, but we have so many. We've met so many people who've moved from Southern California that that just the vibe is similar.
Yeah,
granted, the weather's not. The
summers, once we hit July, last summer was pretty pleasant. We'll see what's in store for this summer, but it's not too bad.
So speaking of summer, with the market heating up, or with the weather heating up, the market is also heating up, and we're starting to hear more talk about dual agency. So when the market heats up, a lot of times buyers are frustrated; they're not getting their offers accepted, and so they might be looking towards the listing agent, the person representing the seller, to write their offer in the hopes that that'll give them an edge.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And so here's my take on it. I personally will never dual represent.
Why?
I won't do it.
Seems like that would benefit you.
Yeah,
right?
you get 2 paychecks instead of one.
There you go.
But it's kind of like hiring the same divorce attorney to represent both parties. Like
again, that seems like that would make sense.
What? No way.
No, it just seems like more efficient, right?
But
what is the conflict?
who's going to represent that party in its entirety, like to their fullest?
Yeah,
like,
you got a good point.
How can I fully represent the buyer and fully represent the seller at the same time?
Because on both sides, you're trying to negotiate, right? You're trying to get the best deal for your client.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you're representing the buyer and the seller, that's a conflict.
It's an absolute conflict. And I don't understand, like with all these lawsuits and stuff that are going on, I don't understand why they just didn't make that. Like, lead with that. Let's make dual representation not allowed. But
do you see that a lot?
It's very rare. It's normally 1 in 10.
Okay.
But
even 10%.
Yeah.
So you see it as much as 10%, huh?
Yeah. But with the whole lawsuit thing, like what they've done is now they've essentially pushed buyers to the listing agents. And so they're now almost encouraging dual representation, which is a huge hornet's nest. Because, like again, how can you fully represent two conflicting parties? And so how we handle it on our team is at least there's like a degree of separation. If somebody comes and they're interested in one of our listings, then we'll refer it out to one of the agents.
That just seems complicated, though, because if I'm a family and I'm shopping for my home, obviously and you're the expert on this, you would know, you put in offers on multiple homes. There's not just one home that you put an offer in, right?
Well, technically you're only supposed to put an offer in on one home at a time.
Well, yeah, even so though, sometimes that offer doesn't get approved or doesn't go through.
Yeah.
And so that just seems like so much work on the buyer's end where you're working with one agent who's selling that house and then you leave them if you're interested in another home.
Yeah.
That just seems overly complicated.
And you don't really know them. There's not a relationship there. How do they really know what you're wanting or looking for? Like all that responsibility is on you as the buyer.
And I would always be suspect on whether or not they have my best interest at heart. Because
that's exactly right.
Their first loyalty is to their seller.
Yep. And so they do it because oftentimes people do it because they're trying to get a deal. They say, hey, represent me, and then kick me off some of the commission on closing costs. So they're looking for a deal. But man, it is not, to me, it's not worth it. It has never ended well. Like I just don't feel good. Even if both parties are happy, I don't feel good at the end of the transaction because it's like, how did I ethically represent both parties 100%?
Well, that's what we appreciate about you, Johnny, and the whole Made for More Living team is that you guys are ethical and honest, and you don't always find that with all the companies that are out there. So I think that's why we recommend you guys, whether you're trying to sell a house or buy a house, work with somebody you trust. Work with somebody that you know is going to be ethical and honest. And yes, they're out there to earn a paycheck, but they're also in it for your interest. They want to do what's right.
Yep, your success is our success. If you want to get more, call Made for More.
Right. Get more with Made for More. MadeForMoreLiving.com, or they can just Google Made for More. Right?
You got it. All right. Thanks, Matt.
No problem.